constant radius, how to sync up the arm movement and the body movement to build a solid backswing structure. All right, this right here is one of my favorite topics, something that I've worked on really hard in my own game, and it is building structure in the backswing to where I'm able to get my arms back out in front of me a heck of a lot easier. So what I see out of a lot of us, and I see this out of a lot of amateurs especially, trying to create more speed and trying to create more power. So obviously I think it's pretty apparent in the golf world, the way that we rotate, the way we move the shoulders, the further back we get all of this, probably gives us the ability to create more speed. But I think there's a mix, there's a combination that we need to have so that we can actually maintain what I would call a radius in the transition and into the downswing right here. So what I see out of a lot of players right here is they'll create this great turn in their backswing, and if I extended the arms right in here, if I extended the arms to where these were pretty wide, this would be me moving my arm structure at the same rate as my turn right here. So like if we looked at this from down the line, you'd notice that I'd have a space right here from my bicep to my chest, and we can see this from face on as well. I'm going to try and maintain that all the way to the top. What I see out of a lot of people when we pan over here to face on again is I'll see people make this really good turn and they just let their arms continue to run out, and now when they return, they turn back in the transition, their arms are stuck. So we look at how close this grip is to my body, I'm not going to be able to get back to that golf ball. So either A, we throw it out away from us, or B, we end up having to move into the golf ball because we have to make up the distance that we lost by having this excessive arm run out in relation to how much the body moves, okay? This right here, I'm just being honest right here, this is not an easy piece, I would say, for a lot of people to change. Like, this is something that probably needs to be almost what I would call part of your daily maintenance. Okay, I call a lot of these things for players that I coach daily maintenance, to be able to just continue to bring awareness to what it is that we want to feel. Because feels change daily, things change, we sleep differently, we come out and we don't feel like the same person day in and day out, okay? So we need to have orientations, we need to have things that we can always refer back to that help us get to where we need to be so that we can be efficient. So the first one for me is going lead arm only, touching my bicep and my chest right here, and working that as far away as I can. I can still hinge this, but I want to move my arm and my body at the same rate right here. This right here, to me, my trail arm is not straight. I will kid you not, everybody. My arm, when I do this correctly, almost feels like it is locked out in external rotation of the shoulder. This feels like it is locked out. I am a prime example of somebody who has run their arms out well past what their body turned for a long time. And I think it's because it feels like we can create more downward force, which is important, but what we have to remember is the arms kind of work in a few different planes here. They work in a plane around us, and they also work in a plane up and down right here. So if we have around, we also have to have out. So the more around I get, the harder it's going to be to get them back out. That's why we have relationships. Like for me, I think the proper amount of depth that we see from a lot of good coaches here is the grip handle is somewhere around the trail heel. So that would be a good place right here from a down the line view. Can that grip get to where my heel is while I'm moving my arms at the same rate as my body turn? Now it also takes discipline to be able to stop here and then be able to restart it again and not continue to let the arms just work behind, to where this trail shoulder ends up internally rotating, and now we're trapped right there. It's not that there hasn't been any good players that can play from a trapped position, but they sync it up differently. Let's take Jim Furyk. Jim Furyk's basically got his hands where his knees are because of how far he gets his arms back, and this is how he is able to sync that up. He was a pretty good player. So if you want to play with a trapped trail arm, you probably need to get a lot closer to the golf ball, but you're going to give up speed doing this. I really hope you're enjoying today's video here on YouTube. I want to take a second to talk about online instruction. I cannot stress enough the importance of getting information that is tailored to you, the consumer. Online instruction works. All we really need is 3 golf swings, face on, down the line, rear view, and details about what your golf ball does and what your contact does. After that, you're going to receive a very detailed analysis from me via Skillist, a follow-up video of what to work on, the phases that we're going to be changing, as well as an incredibly detailed practice plan of how to do that. So if that's something you're interested in, please click on the link down below. Now we'll get back to the video. So this is one of my favorite drills as well to feel. So I'm going to run you through just a couple more. So the first one we talked about right in here. The other one I really like to do is I'll take the club in my trail hand, put it in my stomach, and I'm going to work this back at the same rate. As I get better at it, I'll start to move it up to where my chest is. And then I'm going to put both hands on. Okay, and so this is me actually starting to feel what it's like to move my arms and my body at the same rate. Now, if you've never actually hit a golf ball from this wide, I probably wouldn't recommend starting at the highest rate of speed possible right here, because you're going to need to be feeling like this trail arm is trying to push away, and we're not going to have the lead arm over adduct into the chest to where we get this trapped look right here. So I would go up in here. Here's going to be my rehearsal, and I'll show you how I would practice this. Here's my rehearsal. Up together, back down. Up together, back down. So you can see how my arm is working back out away from my chest right here. It's not going and repinning itself right there. So just doing a lot of this right in here, feeling how my arms would get back out in front of me, can be very beneficial. Now, we're going to go in and we're going to do a freezer. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to turn to the top, move the arms at the same rate of speed as my body, stop, and then I'm going to come down and chip it. So now for me, that feels very symmetrical, and this feels more like I am on what I'd refer to as a constant radius. That is probably the place, if you're the player that needs to change this because you get the arms trapped too far behind you, this is probably the place that you're going to need to start. And I'll tell you, make sure you're using video, because that's what's going to tell us from face on right in here. You can see how you can still see my elbow. We start to see that disappear from face on. That's how we would know that we're somewhat trapped right there. So let's do this again. We're going to go up to the top. Arms move at the same rate of speed as the body. Freeze. And then come down and hit. As we get better at it, then we can start to take the paws out. And again, what we're looking for out of face on right here is that we're not pulling this golf club in towards us. We're keeping this golf club away from us. The arms are moving at the same rate of speed here as the body. We'll do this one without a pause here. And that right there for me is a relief, because I love the feel of that because of how much space it gives me here in the downswing. So there's a few ways that we can work on this. Understand the relationships there in the backswing. Get the arm run out to stop when the body stops. Few ways we can feel it, few ways we can drill it. That'll get you on your way to being more consistent. I hope you enjoyed this video here. If you haven't, please click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell right there, and that's going to notify you every time that I release a new YouTube video. Also, if you haven't, check out that last video that I did. It's right here, pinned to the screen. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, any comments, please leave those below, and I will make sure I get back to each and every one of you. So, thank you again. Appreciate your support. We'll see you next time.